Sounds.
I think you have to agree to pop up on your screen. Okay, so first of all, your resume is the best I have seen from all the paying clients and the pro bono clients I have ever met. So my congratulations.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Uh,
My resume, but I didn't get the few words you said.
a second, let me see if I can.
Let me write it down.
Yeah. Well, you'll have it in transcript, so don't worry about. Any better?
Yeah.
Okay. So your resume is awesome. It's the best I have seen in my consulting practice. You really get the idea of what it takes to have a great resume, which is not just say that you are a great team player, but showing it. So you have really serious competencies, really great achievements. So that's my congratulations on a really great resume.
Thank you.
Having said that, of course, there is always room for improvement. So I would like to help you with that. So let me start by sharing my screen.
Just before we start, Lala, what? So we have 45 minutes, right?
I can take more. I don't have any appointments today.
Oh, okay, yeah, but it will be how you'd like to structure our talk? Like you'd like to hear from me, or you will talk about resume and because I also I will need some help to to yeah basically to find or to define what I need or what I'm looking for. It's not so clear for me now in this point of my life.
Okay.
So yeah, I would like to spend a few minutes also on describing myself and where I am, right?
Sounds great. So we can deal with the technical aspects and the resume later. Just tell me um, what are you thinking about? Go ahead.
Yeah, I most of my life I was doing program management of different products, like projects, mainly in high tech. Now, I was moving from left to right. Left to right for me is left is more technical, very technical. When I was some time ago, it was already maybe 20 years ago, I was very technical and was managing a technical team, engineering team. I'm a mechanical engineer, right? And to the right, that is a completely business type of business side, right? So for me, it's like a scale or bar that is coming from technical side on the left side and on a business side on the right side. So for me, it looks like, and again, I would like to help from outside to understand that I was doing good performance, looking where I was performing well and optimal and achieved very good results where I combine both things together. When there is some technical challenge, but maybe not combined with my business or project management capabilities to bring things together and organize that. But although I try to do all both sides on the edges. So engineering, I may give an example on business side. I was few years when I was self-employed and established a small company called TechSam. It's what I did. I started to sell refurbished equipment to Russia, make all the needed things, learn from it. Yeah, so that's my experience, and that's what I pretty much my resume is about. Although I have so much experience that I can tune it for more technical one or more business one, or more, you know, supply chain, production, whatever. But looks like, I think, I'm good also on troubleshooting, very good. That's kind of also things that I'm like and enjoy, and my technical and common sense I applying to the problems. It could be different, not only technical one. It could be, you know, in production that cycle time is too much. How we can cut the cycle time, or how we can cut the cost of the things. So looking on the whole pictures, understanding, defining the problem, what is the root cause, and proposing the solution I can do. But it can be different problems, right? I have an approach, I have a process in me, or I can look and thought process wise. So yeah, I'm not so super successful in managing people as a manager, I think, although I'm from the good, but I'm not enjoying too much all the logistics and necessary, you know, tasks and steps and overhead that coming with direct managing the people and direct report people, although I had a few in the past. And although I'm pretty, we're talking about now I'm in a pretty good spirit state when I'm not much conflicting at all with people, not much working on or enjoying at all any politics that are sometimes a part of the manager work. I'm pretty good in, let's say, I have a pretty good, if other things right, in matrix organizations that most of the big companies work with program managers like me, although it needs to be supported by few things, managers and structure and other things, right, and priority. But I have examples in my life and in my career when I was very, very successful, achieving results and things like that. I'm open to new things. So I have basically, if I give you a quick, very short 5 things or 4 things that is describe me in a way of how others will tell about me. So right now I'm in a state when I'm looking for a job, although I have maybe a month and a half still staying with the company, so I can find or inside or outside a job. So there is someone pretty senior in applied materials who worked with me previously and helped me and told me how I can describe myself. So he said, here are the few things that I know you, Alexey, work with you, will describe you as a program manager or technical program manager. He said, first, you are a resourceful program manager. I can bring knowledge, resources, consultants, whatever is needed, or I am, yeah. So that's one. He said, I'm technical, meaning working in high tech, and I can be good, deep enough, but not too deep to understand the problem and learn quick, right? He said, I can make complicated things done. And it's also been shown in at least in my career. I also innovative, right? So I can look on things, yeah. And I have can do attitude, or you can call it no matter what or whatever. So I can lead and I can work very hard. Yeah, that's pretty much describe me in a good supportive environment. Let's say this way. because I do believe today, after so many years in my career, that for me, in order to, I need to be motivated. I need to be, but not by money. I'm not meaning motivation coming for me also for to have a good team, to have a good manager, to have a good challenging job, and recognition. Yeah, a few things. But once I'm motivated and I'm in the right surrounding, uh, I'm performing very well. That's kind of what I wanted to say and describe. Yeah.
I love the word resourceful.
What is it?
I love the word resourceful. Resourceful should be your leading element on your self-description summary, because it is not all too common. Everybody who is a technical product manager, program manager is technical. And everybody has achievements, but you have resourceful, which communicates a lot of different notions. Creative, innovative, doesn't stop and whine because they don't have resources, finding interesting solution, corner cases. There is a lot of downstream elements from that, and you should lead with that. That's your top strength.
I see. Yeah, I have many examples of such a thing. When I've been living applied, I remember in Israel, my boss saying a couple of nice words about me and saying, "Oh, I remember Alexey was driving, whole night on the France to come to the meeting and ask my shower to use when I come in the morning because there was a strike and there was no flights to France. So I took a flight in the evening to Italy and I took a car and just drive all around the Europe and come in the morning. And all other things like anyhow, I understand what
So
you're
if
saying.
you look, if I look at your professional summary, the first line, hands-on technical program product manager, and so on. I challenge you to find a resume for a technical product manager, program manager that doesn't have that line.
Doesn't have what line?
That line doesn't set you aside. That is
what line?
The first line in your professional summary.
I see. It's like okay. Water is a water is.
It's motherhood and apple pie. It's like table stakes.
It's I see. Yeah, it's basically it's obvious.
When you think about the resume, and I know I want to talk about higher level, but just I'm looking at your resume right now. What is the purpose of having a resume? Like, what is it? Why do you have a resume? What is it?
Yeah, it's clear, right? I would like to be invited. Yeah.
Right. But also it is to connect the dots for the hiring manager between what they have in the job description and what you have. You need to connect the dots because they will not spend more than 5 minutes reading it. So if it's not jumping out at them, they will not go through this mental effort. So you need to make it as clear and as easy as possible in as few words as possible. So every single word on this page should serve a purpose. Does this communicate what you need to communicate? If not, just get rid of it, right? You need to be very miserly with your words. Every word has to be a bullet delivering a message. The word resourceful is wonderful, and that's what you should lead with.
I see.
Resourceful, technical program manager, excelling at finding creative, innovative solutions and inspire troubleshooting, something like that.
Sounds great.
Do you know what your strengths are aside from that really beautiful description that your previous or current higher up provided? Do you know, like, technically what your strengths are?
Yeah, I'm a good adapter to whatever I put. I'm picking up things quick. Oh, quick learner. We can
I
say.
will point you to a resource. It's a book and a website by it was started by the author of Discover Your Strengths, and then it then was acquired by Gallup. So it's a survey, it's a self-assessment. And if
Discovery, strength, and hope, or how you say, what is the book?
Strengths Finder.
Strengths Finder. Okay.
It gives you your top 5 strengths, and they are remarkably accurate because the survey is extremely well designed by professional psychologists. So it's not, one of those what kind of animal you are on Facebook. It is science based. It will give you an insight into what your strengths are and also what to do with them. So in every step of the way in your job search and in your work, you can highlight those strengths because that's what you're good at. You already identified, and I applaud you for that, that managing people is not your strength. You can do it, but it doesn't ignite you. For me personally, when I'm looking back at my career, actually managing people was the most rewarding thing, not because I was in power, but because I was helping them grow. And that's what motivates me. And that's why I'm doing this, what I'm doing, because that's something that drives me.
You know, I do have examples of couple of maybe few people who I've been managing, and they're grateful for me to help them to develop whatever they developed like professionally. But it's more on a coaching side rather than a real
Right,
manager. Yeah, that's for me at
right.
least. And I
And
really
that's,
enjoy. By the way, I enjoy to teach people or
yep.
coach people. I basically, yeah, put a first course in one of my jobs in applied in Israel. I basically put together a training. Let's say it's training for service engineers, and I went. This is how I came to United States second time, and basically led the course, and I really enjoyed. So I do understand, but it's more like passing the knowledge, or I like design reviews because um, I have a like mindset. I see things that I see, and I make points, and people, yeah, people value it. So let's say this way.
And again, that's what should come through in your resume. It does if you are specific. Like I was looking at your resume with to find nuggets, to find what's great about you. But that is not what, unfortunately, recruiters do. They look at, well, first of all, it goes through the automatic tracking system. And then a well-kept secret is that the recruiters and even the hiring manager, even hiring manager more than recruiters, are looking at the resume to find something to reject because they have an overwhelming amount of resumes on their table, and it's just cognitively challenging to deal with, I don't know, 500 resumes. So in a self-preservation, and not everybody will admit to that, but subconsciously they're looking for something to reject it to go, so they have a smaller space to work with. So which is why your resume should be outstanding, not just by things that other do, but pointing out what is it that is unique about you? What is it that you're the best at that nobody else will do, right? So let me ask you a question. It is related. If you look at your career, Just close your eyes for a second and think about the moments when you felt most alive, when you felt most energized, fulfilled, in the flow, right? In the right moment. That at the end of the day you felt, or at the end of the project, you felt joy. Like, what were the moments in the past that brought you joy of doing the right thing?
Well, I like the recognition, right? That definitely feed my ego well, but it came from the recognizing the things that I was enjoying doing, and it was solving the problem. I remember myself going to the field and helping to solve some technical problem when I was pretty technical on in applied materials. So I was really enjoying solving tough technical problems by myself. By myself meaning leading it, but
Yeah,
I brought. There was a one problem, for example, that took me 8 months or 7 months to solve. With all help, with whatever it was, I brought the very high paid, professional, and yeah, this one thing. Second thing was I like the motion, and I'm a sprinter. That's what I am. So I'm much more efficient to keep high pace, more effort, big torque at the beginning, rather than be consistent for a very long time. And projects like, by the way, I just received, me and my team received a quarterly award in applied materials for the project I did for 5 months. And this project was like very, it was not super challenging in terms of the technical things, but it was a very challenging in terms of the put a lot of moving parts together. There is changing, every day it was change things, so we need to reshuffle things. Who is going first? No, it doesn't make sense. Let's move this. Let's finish this because, and so on and so forth. I enjoyed that too, where there is emotion and yeah. So yeah, I will say this way. Solving hard problem, working with myself and hands, even I mentioned the troubleshooting. Yeah, not all the time, but I was some half and a half, maybe other problems I was, but going to the point, understanding the things and orchestrating, yeah, this process of at the end finish things well. That's brought me a good reward inside.
I can totally relate to that. I don't know how much you looked at my LinkedIn profile, but my entire career in this country has been in technical support. And it was completely by accident that I fell into that. And I can tell you a story later on because my background is actually in academia. I'm a philologist with American literature PhD. But after moving here in 91, I just did a 180. But the joy of troubleshooting, the joy of finding the root cause is you get the high that I don't think you can get anywhere else for the type of person I am, and I think that's the same for you. It's people in technical support, people come to you with problems and you solve problems, and that's the most rewarding job ever to my mind because you get to save the day. Sometimes it takes 8 months to save the day, but in the end you do save the day.
Yeah.
And it is like being an ER doctor that saves lives, but in ER people die and they hardly ever die in our line of business. Although,
you just say, yeah, maybe in next life, this will be what I will do. I don't know.
was actually thinking about this as you were talking, because what comes across to me is you said recognition, but it is not recognition to get like a trophy on your shelf. It's recognition for the job well done.
Yeah.
So you achieved something and then you get recognition. You talked about motivation, and there is a great research that shows that money is actually never a motivator. The biggest motivator, as described by very serious researchers, is the job itself, adding value, doing something that's important. I'll send an article that literally changed my life when I first read it many years ago, because it just changed the perspective on what is important to life. And it's not the salary. You don't wake up every morning saying, oh my God, I'm a director. And I'm just, no, you wake up every morning and you're looking forward to solving problems and fixing things.
No, I agree.
You keep talking about problem solving and describing and the sprint and describing this fast-paced environment, but it does not come across on your resume at all. In your resume, you look like a solid, very well-grounded, credentialed technical program manager or a product manager. But it doesn't highlight your inspiration, problem solving, finding workarounds, finding creative ways of addressing things that I think sets you aside from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Many years ago, when I was kind of in a not in your situation, but I was contemplating what to do next. And I met with a kind of serious colleague at a conference, and I was saying that I'm not sure about the next step. And he said, well, what do you do? What do you do best? And I said, well, I create world-class technical support teams. And that was at the technical support conference. He said, you cannot throw this cocktail olive in this room without hitting somebody who would say that they create world-class technical support teams. That doesn't set you aside. Like, what is it that sets you aside? And that's when I had to go back to my room, get another martini, and think about what drives me. That question I asked you, what energizes me? And I came up with a kind of a tagline that really defines what I do: creating conditions for success. Right? That's it for me. That's helping people, whether it's my clients or my customers in my technical support job, but like making them, enabling them to be successful. And that's what gives me joy. So and that's what I highlight in my work. And that's why I'm focusing more and more on my career strategy work, because that's what brings me joy, because I can create conditions for success for people that I work with. So think about a succinct way of describing yourself. Doesn't have to be 3 words, can be a sentence, but what is the essence of who you are? And the resourcefulness and problem solving are 2 things that come very clear in the conversation. So you have to translate it into your resume, and also into the line of work that you may be looking at, because perhaps some kind of a technical support escalation manager would be something that you would excel at, and I bet you will. Escalations manager is a unique position where you're not usually leading a team, but you are organizing and coordinating rapid response to major problems. When I was at Juniper Network, we had a situation that one of our customers suffered an outage that resulted in nobody on the Eastern Seaboard was able to dial 911. So you can imagine the level of pressure that created. So we had an excellent escalations manager that was coordinating response from different groups, including my team as a technical support, field, just a whole bunch of people. And he was running this kind of as a 24/7 speak-off sprint until this issue was resolved. And he was technical, so he knew what kind of people he needed to bring on. And he was leading the troubleshooting, but it was also a team effort, because not any one person in that group could have solved it, but he was able to bring together the group of people that together had this collaborative problem solving, and they fixed it. And also, of course, the customer, like the best engineers on their side. So I think he would be excellent at something like that. And there are a lot of job postings for critical situation manager or escalations manager in your industry that, like semiconductor, but also your experience is really applicable to any technical environment. Because the most important thing is the way you think about it. Like you can pick up technology and just get up to speed on a particular field, but what you have is very difficult to teach, to learn, and you already have it.
No, I have I have a common sense that I'm really grateful for that, and not many people, and especially in the big companies when they sit and work many years, that's
Yeah, they get tunnel vision.
Yeah,
and people in large companies also way too dependent on processes and 9001 protocols, and they stop thinking.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. I don't know how much help that is, but I know I gave you some things to think about, but what are your next steps? Like, what are you planning to do? And I'll send you the 2 resources that I mentioned, the book and the article. It's just kind of a background.
Yeah, is this coming basically to the question how you manage your support and what you providing? What are the tactical way? I mean, it's like we schedule a meeting and I pay per meetings, or how it works?
Well, it's completely customizable. It's not. There is never a one size fits all. I don't do like this. People who choose to work with me as clients, we can do one of several things. We can do kind of flat fee for a period of time, and I will be on call for any questions, or we can have scheduled meetings, but in between you can reach out to me with any questions you have. We can work on a whole number of things. The resume, the direction of job search, the tactics of job search, optimizing the resume for every job posting, finding the job postings that are relevant to you that you may not even think about, maximizing your strengths, and then practicing the presentation conversations with multiple people in the recruiting chain, and also the strategies on LinkedIn search and whatnot. So that's if you look, I don't know if you looked at my website. I kind of have this.
Not yet.
Yeah, I will send it to you. I have this kind of a massive menu of things that I do, and my consulting is called Career Strategy 360 because I am not a job search coach, right? It's about career strategy. It's 360 is from beginning to think about a new job to figuring out what you're best at, resume interview, and then onboarding, engaging with the team, getting promotions, working with executives, just with the whole great.
Well, I know that's clear. Thank you very much for explaining this. And one skill set that I do believe I have maybe not so great about is communication in the quick way of communication, for example, or summarizing things quickly after the meeting, sending it out. I'm not so great at all. And sometimes I do have struggle in terms of spending, the bottom line, spending too much time, maybe because I'm perfectionist one, or maybe because I do lack some skills in that way. Although I know the kind of rules, but it's definitely one of the things that is. But it's not super critical to get the job. It's
right.
Yeah.
Which is why the 360. That's where it comes in. You have this kind of a wide system level vision of things, right?
That's
Why,
right. I call it. I'm a good system guy or
right?
system engineer.
Right.
That's my big plus.
But the downside of that is that sometimes you lose the forest for the trees. So when you talk about summarizing, you have so many things that you see that distilling them to top 5 is something that is a challenge. One of my favorite bosses, a GM I was working for, he had this unique skill I have never seen in anybody else, how he would listen to something super complicated, technical, and then he would just summarize it on the whiteboard in 5 bullet points. And everybody was like, oh my. It's the distillation part. You are great at
Oh
assimilating.
no, I'm an opposite guy. I'm putting more water in a
Right.
in that pool.
Right. Well, there are techniques to get to that. It's some of it is you're born with, some of it is looking at your strengths and how you can apply the strength that you identify to addressing that. And there is also a process element to that. Like, how do you get from, it's kind of a funnel, right? You have all these inputs, and how do you get to just 5?
I also been thinking about startup or business of my own, or this thoughts coming to me. I know I'm kind of saying, okay, maybe I think I'm capable. I have kind of open mind for that, right? And I have, let's say, I have courage to do some things in the past that is not many people have. But that's just thoughts. Yeah.
But there are ways to look for to be a co-founder. There is this whole universe of startups where people have great technical ideas, but they don't know how to implement it, or they have a great business idea, but they don't know how to go about it. Part of my practice, I have another consulting called Career Strategy, the Career Strategy, and that's specifically actually working with startups who have no idea how to create a support structure for the new product. So they will create this great product, and then all of a sudden they have customers and they have no idea what to do with them.
I see.
So that's kind of what I work with. But I'm like less and less focused on that, and more focused on the career strategy, because again, that's what feeds me. But yeah, it's a very interesting perspective. The job market may be actually more favorable for startups, although funding is a problem. So if you find a co-founder, or if you're thinking of bootstrapping yourself, it has to be.
Yeah. I started, Lala, I started to look about, I feel that it will coming because the business went down, and I started like before it even put me and a few other guys on this special program that is they're giving 2 months to find a job inside, the company, because they don't want to lose these people if possible. But so I interviewed on one startup in Redwood City. We live in San Jose, and they gave me a proposal. It was not so great, in terms of money. So, but my wife saying, okay, because startups is usually they're not matching whole package. They
Right,
usually,
but you get equity though.
yeah, exactly. So, but then I look on the job itself and talk to the hiring manager. He was a pretty nice guy, and we found a good connection. Some Indian guy, and I found that I'm not going to learn anything basically. Or there is a new field that was pretty nice, and AI and robotics and AI, and but the job that they describe I have to do in the next 8 months or so is a pure, just they have a commitment to the biggest customer, UPS or whatever, and I will be just doing, and I said, not really feel comfortable. That is for me. So I put it down. I have some interview in some semiconductor company, KLA Tencor.
Mhm.
That one of my friends that I consult once in a 50 few years ago, 8 years ago, maybe, when I was doing some consulting on the technical side. But inside of applied, I mean, people here and there, but nothing at all that is, something on the table. I don't have anything. So.
Well, fortunately, you have a kind of a bit of a safety blanket because you have your wife who is working, I think, right?
No, my wife doesn't work, but we
Yeah.
have a safety
Okay.
blanket anyhow, so we're not like, oh, there will be medical for 18 months or so, or half a year for sure, for full time. But anyhow, yeah. So I'm not super pressed to this is why I put this down.
Yeah.
For for the
And
whole.
that also takes courage. And I like the way that they use this word because it takes courage to turn down something because you know you will not survive that environment.
Yeah, that's correct. And I believe if I do right, so maybe I will find something that will suit to me. I need to find a sweet spot that I can get a
I
maximum of
love
what
the
I
word
can.
that you used, and you should have them in your resume, the word courage and also the word learning.
Okay.
Lifetime learning is a gift that is severely lacking in a lot of people. They get their degree and they're done, and they are not driven by the spirit of discovery. And I think your troubleshooting and resourcefulness comes hand in hand with this learning. Like, what will I learn? What will be something new I will learn? So that's great, and I applaud that. I think you're in a great position to find something really wonderful. You're confident in your skills, but you're also open-minded about your areas that need work. And don't try to be the best at everything. It's like that's why strength is so important. You have to understand your strength and then how you can use that strength to shore up something that needs to be done. So in your case, this summarization, ChatGPT actually is a great tool if you know how to, if you can figure out productive way of using it, because it can lead you in a really terrible direction if you just let it drive. But it can be a super helpful summarization tool. But ChatGPT knows nothing about your context, right? So you cannot just outsource it to them, but you can use it as a filter. And if you want to work with me, we can also focus on that. I just spent very frustrating 2 hours yesterday trying to get ChatGPT to help me with Excel form, and it just was just completely.
Yeah, I would like to see in my I made a note today with my friends. We met. Oh, Bard, Google
Yeah.
Bard.
Yeah.
So they mentioned that they also they're not limited because
I actually did a webinar on using AI in the job search, and I think the group that your wife is in was part of that.
Nice.
So it's super important to be in charge and not let ChatGPT, because ChatGPT will never replace the heuristic nature of the human communication, right? It doesn't know the context. It just knows what is the most likely. But if you ask the ChatGPT to write a resume for you based on your experience, it will start with what's that? Hands-on technical programmer and product manager with a proven track record in product development, because that's the most common thing people put there. So that's what ChatGPT will give you.
I see.
You have to harness it. And I'm saying ChatGPT can be Bard or any other tool, but like you have to drive it to the destination you want and not let it just be a banal
Yeah. So I suggest, I really like what you propose, and I would like to maybe to use our way of scheduling maybe
Okay.
meetings and then work on
I didn't finish. Um, One of the things that are not my strengths is business development. So I have two modes, different modes that I mentioned. One is maybe even three. One is this flat fees, sort of like monthly, like being on retainer. One is just per session, um, which doesn't mean that you cannot reach out to me in between the conversations. You can also buy like a bulk, like a set of hours, and there will be a discount to go with that. On the average, it's about $100 per hour, give and take. I actually have a higher rate, but I call it friends and family, people from my Facebook groups and from my kind of broader community of Russian-speaking refugees, which is consider people to be escapees from the Soviet regime. What year did you leave Russia?
Yeah, we also left in 91 and went to Israel.
Did you leave before or after the collapse of the Soviet?
Oh, we left USSR.
Me too. And
Yeah.
the way I describe it to people, like you have in those disaster movies, when like the airport is blowing apart and the plane just takes off at the last moment, and then behind the plane just there's like lava and explosion. Well, that's how I was living. Started just like literally a couple of months before it all fell apart. And I tell people that after I was gone, there was no reason to keep going for a Soviet Union. Yep. And that also takes courage to live into unknown, which is Will did. And yeah. So yeah, I would love to work with you. I think you have great potential, and you have a very inspirational story.
Thank you very much. So
Can be polished into something really extraordinary.
yeah, maybe we can do like a quick goals or short goals, right? That will help that, you know, like resume and search, like you mentioned, that will be maybe things that I can benefit pretty quick, right? And
I can send you a proposal.
Yeah.
But not before Friday because I'll be out camping.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Big Sur.
Wow, I've been there like 2 times.
I was not a camper. Like for me, roughing it was being in a hotel that stops room service at 11. So I was never like an outdoors person. But then this spring I went, but I'm a photographer. So I was so inspired by the super bloom that I actually went to Korea's a national monument and it's wilderness to photograph wildflowers. And it was such an amazing experience. And for the first time in my life, I actually spent the night at a campground in the car. But and
Nice.
I got like so it was just an extraordinary experience because I don't know how I spent all these years staying at Marriott's when you can do this. So I'm doing a car camping, and because I have a free schedule, I can do
Same here.
midweek.
Yeah. There is a mountain, Michelle, that I went over there. That's pretty, big hike.
I don't do hiking because my back hurts, but what I can do, I can walk to a Vista Point for.
Yeah, we just and also I just came from 2 days from Mountain Madonna.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
Yeah, just last weekend.
Yep. And I booked a floating campsite in Lake Oroville for like mid-August, which is amazing. Like they have floating camp places.
Wow, I never heard about that.
Yeah, it's. I'm researching it because I'm like a novice with like, oh my God, there's this world I never imagined existed. So I have a spreadsheet of the places to visit. I'm also like kind of a program manager at heart. I have spreadsheets for everything and trackers and project plans. Okay, let me send you something Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
In the meantime, I will send a couple of links
Yeah, thank you very
in the
much.
background, and I enjoyed talking to you. I'll send you a
Yeah.
transcript, and you can run it through ChatGPT to get a summary.
Thank you very much. And also, yeah, let me know if what I own, and we will start from there.
Okay, all right. So, well, today's session is free of charge.
It's up to you.
I don't charge for that. Okay. Enjoy your 4th of July. Take
Yeah,
care.
well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you.
Talking to you. Yeah, nice meeting you here. Same. Yeah, thank you.